For the session of July the 6th, 2021, American Battery Metals closed up at, or rather closed down at $1.76, a 5.88% retracement. About 8.9 million shares crossed the tape and it was above average. And we can see below here that we have a position there. We have actually increased our position there, but not by a huge amount. Market cap is about 1,572.75 million shares outstanding. So even at that, we're only having 8 million shares that are crossing the tape, and it's even above average. So, but in this video, we're going to review, amongst other things, a piece written on Seeking Alpha. You can just see what it is, what we're looking at right there. And we don't exactly have the name of the author of this piece. I think we don't have the name, but in any case, though, the summary is you're looking at it on the screen. In April, the company raised $50 million through a share issue. In late May, it filed an application to list on the Nasdaq. Additionally, the author doesn't see any reason he doesn't see how American Battery Metals can fund its capital expenditure over the next few years. So the author went on to says he or she was not impressed by the Q1 2021 financials, and after reviewing the events over the past 2.5 months, it seems that the major catalyst for the share price increase is a planned listing on the Nasdaq. And he or she continues to doubt that American Battery Metals has the funding and partners to achieve this vision. He or she thinks this company is a sell. So we have to point out that this thesis by this author is a bear thesis, so the person is skeptical. So the major developments are that the uplisting on the New York Stock Exchange, so it went on to say an uplisting to Nasdaq should attract more investor interest, but the downside is that it will also likely result in more scrutiny and comparisons to an already established rival. One such rival is Lithium Cycle Peridot, which the author has also covered. Therefore, a listing on a major US stock exchange isn't necessarily a good thing for American Battery Metals, and he or she finds the optimism of current investors of the company to be misplaced. So, but I am now asking, so are the optimisms of the current investors misplaced? Well, the author may or may not have realized that it is the investors that make stocks what they are. And indeed, products and services, it is people, investors, market participants, they make the stocks. It doesn't matter how good you think it is. If people don't realize what you're doing, it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't excel. The stock wouldn't gain value. The product wouldn't sell. The product wouldn't get popular. It is people that, make all those things. So this bearish thesis, amongst other things, is a factor, amongst other things, that has been pushing a lot of market participants to turn on stocks that have been condemned, even if the fundamentals don't look right. This a skepticism just simply implies that there's something bullish there. So as we pointed out, it is people that makes the stock. So this author has not factored that in, hasn't, the reality, the bottom of it all is, forget about the fundamentals. If people decide this so-called trash stock, this so-called trash company, this so-called deluded company, we are going to buy it. And when they buy it, look, forget about all you have seen. It is going to extend and appreciate. And we may, that's it's not absolutely the fundamentals that has made some of these great companies what they are in the stock market. It is for the primary thing, the primary reason why they have gotten to where they are. Why the stocks have gotten where they are is because people have bought them, even though indeed the reason why they have bought them is because the fundamentals are right. and all that stuff. But the fundamentals can be right, but if they don't buy it, it will not be, they won't be that great. So this author has not, sufficiently involved the fact that if people decide to buy it, whether, regardless of whatever it is, regardless of how deluded their ambitions are, then they have discounted that. It hasn't, this author has discounted that fact. If people get involved, then the stock will look up. So if they decide to make the stock a great one, it will be a great one regardless of this thesis, and that's the fact. So what else can we say? That's, the author, well, the investor takeaway is that Lithium Cycle is the leading recycler. Lithium Cycle is the leading recycler of lithium-ion batteries in North America, and it has the funding partnership in place to have a decent shot at being the market leader for the foreseeable future. The lithium-ion battery recycling market is growing fast, but it is small, so he or she don't think it makes sense that there is an OTC rival with a small asset base that has a higher enterprise value. It looks like a David versus Goliath story. So you can see, there's a problem with that. This author hasn't realized that American Battery Metals is presenting an opportunity. The opportunity is that it is still a David in this case. It's still a David. That means the opportunity is there. People can get involved. You can see the price is less than $2. It's affordable, So they will want to make it the next great peridot, the next great lithium cycle, the next great rival. They will want to push it up so that it will equal or rival or supersede lithium cycle peridot. This author hasn't seen that prospect in American Battery Metals. So I also have to point out that I have been skeptical about American Battery Metals in the light of the fact that we've been moving too fast towards the green cutting out emissions and cutting out fossil fuels. We are moving too fast, and we don't realize that we still need to have the use of fossil fuels before we get to a green destination. So that's why I've been skeptical about it. But all in all, I think American Battery Metals is moving much more towards recycling and probably less. So it doesn't really affect it that much, because these batteries will continue to be manufactured and all that stuff, So yes, that's skepticism, from us outside. But this skepticism from this author is not sufficient enough. It doesn't realize that where he or she decides to take a stand, where she or she decides to take a position, then that position is opened up. The position, the counter to that position is opened up, and that is where a lot of market participants who have been involved in American Battery Metals, in pushing it up and getting it to where it is have taken. So we went on to say, in his or her view, the listing on Nasdaq changes nothing for American Battery Metals, and he or she continues to think that this is a sell. Investors can take advantage of this by shorting the shares. According to the data from Fintel, the short borrow fee stands at 7.09% as of the time the author wrote this, which was sometime in May 28. But enough of that. We can see, yes, the stock closed down 5.88%, and you know what, the opportunity to get involved, we took advantage of that and increased our position, not by a huge amount. The stock is now trading at a discount to its short and intermediate moving averages. You can see these two are the short-term moving averages. This is the 10-day moving average. The 10-day moving average has a price of $2.05, and the 20-day moving average has a price of $2.16. and the 50-day moving average has a price of 195. So it is trading at a discount to all of them, and it's only 16% above the 200-day moving average. So there's a good chance this stock may retrace further. There's a good chance it may retrace further, but I'm seeing the opportunity. The opportunity is there. Even if it continues to retrace, I'm very sure it will extend again. So the opportunity is there. Technically, it's a buy for us, and we have done that. We've added more to our position. And moving down, we can see that it appears to be correcting within a longer term bullish trend, although its MACD is presently below the signal line. You can see the shares remain okay, 20.09% above an upward sloping 200-day moving average, but it's also lagging the S&P 500. So the 200-day moving average is still sloping upwards, implying that the underlying trend is still very much bullish. So even though it is correcting, the underlying trend, the fundamental trend of this whole of what American battery metal stock is all about is still very much a bullish case, a bullish one. So American battery metals is strongly bearish. The momentum is strongly bearish. The 14-period slow stochastic oscillator is below 20. You can see that here, the level which many analysts call oversold. This means that investors have been have been actively selling shares and driving the price lower. The volume for that session, the 6th of July, was heavier than usual, trading 8.948 million shares versus an average of 6.046 million shares per day during the last 12 months. The unbalanced volume indicator is bearish. The slope of that indicator is negative and suggests that there is a lack of buying interest. So, and it has a 10-day historical volatility of 196.0906%, so which is not exactly very high relative to what we have seen for a lot of other penny stocks. So all in all, we can still see that here, American battery metals, we can see the ranges here. The one standard deviation range for the last 10 days is $2.1979 to $2.343 dollars. So it's currently trading at that's the price is 176. So the price is $101.76. That's what we have there, 1.76. So you can see it is trading at a discount. If you doubted what you saw graphically, you can see statistically it is evident here as well. And it's trading not trading within that range at all, which is a validation that it is getting cheaper. And that is also the case for the last 20 days. You can see the price range for the last 50 days as well. See the price range. So the opportunity is improving for anybody who wants to get involved. And indeed, the author of this thesis we just reviewed also pointed out that a lot of folks on YouTube have been covering the stock, implying that the stock is reliant on them. So this is also another issue. This author, doesn't seem to realize that the army that have put their foot down to ensure that any bullish opportunity in the form of skepticism, in the form of short sales and all that stuff, will definitely profit them and ultimately benefit the company. Because what we have seen is that when all of these things happen, these companies go ahead and raise funds, the needed funds to progress. So this author, the author of that thesis, has just completely discounted the prospects, the opportunities that lie in the other side of his or her case. So indeed, there's a good chance going forward that American battery metals will succeed in raising funds. They will, and indeed there will be some dilution. So expect more to come in. It's still on trading. It still has shares below 1 billion. Yes, still 572 million. So the opportunity is still there. It's a good chance. They've already raised, as I pointed out, 50 million. if market participants get involved more and try to push out the short sellers, the opportunity for them to raise more money will even come in. And also fundamentally, it is in the right space. It's recycling, and it has that license to build its plant in Nevada. It has water rights as well secured and all that stuff. So technically, fundamentally, it is sound. But the skepticism is there. The skepticism is what American Battery Metals is going to rely on, and that it will be buoyed by the involvement of market participants. So technically, American Battery Metals is a buy. So without any equivocation, it is a buy. It is trading at a discount to its short and intermediate moving averages, and also just only 20% above its 50-day moving average. So there's a good chance that in a few sessions it might it could still retrace below that, but that would be a real shock, because that moving average is currently at $0.4. So fingers crossed. Let's see how things go. Thank you very much for watching this video.